Hi everyone, this is Egidio from Life Wellness. I'm here in São Jorge in the middle of the Azores, the beautiful Azores, I should say, on a beautiful day. And I'm here with Miguel Soares, who is the owner and entrepreneur behind Sea Explorers, an up and coming marine observation company here on São Jorge Island. And I'm pleased to have him here with me. We're doing this live on location in the harbor in Veles. So Miguel, thank you for
Very
joining us
much welcome.
today. And I should just point out, I met Miguel about 5 years ago. First, met his father and mother who own an accommodation here called Vila Castlich in Rosalina. Beautiful accommodation. I would say one of the top in São Jorge. So if you're looking for accommodation, you certainly want to check that out. Not the purpose of today's video, though. We're going to focus on marine life and observation, and specifically observation here along the coast. But before we do, I want to just share with you. I mentioned we're in the heart of the Azores on São Jorge Island, and specifically, we're here at this kiosk that Miguel owns for Sea Explorers, and you can see where it is there. Give you an idea. It's in the harbor in Veles here. And before we get into marine life observation, Miguel, maybe you can just give us an overview of your background and how you got to where you are today.
Thank you for the introduction, for having me here in your webcast, Egidio. It's always a pleasure to see to help whoever's doing some good promotion of the islands. And yes, my name is Miguel, and I'm from São Jorge. I grew up here all my life in Ursulina. That's a place that's very special to me, and we do pass there along the shore. Um, and I left the island for 4 years. So between 2014 and 2017, I did study for marine biology in the mainland, an hour north from Lisbon. And then I came back in 2019, 2018, so I could start working. And I wanted to work on something related to the ocean, to being outdoors. And I ended up working for whale watching, one of the top whale watching companies in São Miguel, Futurismo, where, bom dia, where I discovered the new passion that I have for cetaceans, for animal wildlife megafauna, mainly the whales and dolphins of the Azores. So in 2020, I decided to leave São Miguel, come back to São Jorge, since it's a very unexplored island still. It's very,
Hmm.
very fresh and still on the upcoming for
Yeah,
the tourism sector.
I refer to it as nature at its purest.
Yes, yes, yes. Most people that do visit us say that São Jorge and Flores, it's a different level of
I
nature.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, I've never been to Flores, but
Yes.
I'll have to agree as
So
well.
I visited. I can vouch for that. I find Flores and Saint George very comparable. Not the point of today's
Not the point,
discussion, but
exactly. Let's go
very
back
good.
to the ocean.
Yeah.
So I did came back, and then 2020 on February, so a month before the pandemic, I decided to move back. We started all of the process of buying the boat, licenses, and everything. So we did start on that year, and mainly we did coastal tours. That's our experiences for the moment, and I'm very pleased to announce that starting this year we'll also be doing whale watching. So
Very
one of
nice.
our main goals is,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you, and we're gonna start doing this year.
You also provide other experiences here along the coast at different levels, and you can customize it as well.
Yes, of course. So we do have some tour packages that are our most popular
Yeah.
ones, including on the south coast of the island or the north coast of the island. But of course, Egidio, like you said, you can customize your own travel depending on how much time you want to spend
Yep.
at the ocean. Then you can evolve and see a bit more than just. So in 6 hours, you can pretty much do a tour around the island, as opposed to 2 to 3 hours where you just stand on the south coast.
And we didn't talk about this before, but what type of boat do you have, and how many people can you take on a boat at a time?
Yeah, so we have an inflatable boat, and I'm gonna ask Gidi to include a picture here.
Yeah.
There it is. So we have an inflatable with 7.5 meters, with a capacity for 13 people. I decided to just keep it at 13 for the moment,
Small group.
smaller group, so I can customize and be a bit more attentive to
Right.
whoever is on the boat with us.
And we should say that the boat that you're using, it's more than just an inflatable boat. It's the boat. It's a boat that's used here by many of the whale watching
Exactly,
companies as
exactly.
well.
Most of the whale
Very
watching
safe
is
and very, it's appropriate for
exactly.
the observation.
There's
that
also
you're
the
doing.
transmission it's a Zodiac boat.
It's a Zodiac, yeah.
So you have a hole. The hole is of fiberglass,
Yeah.
and then the size of the boat you have two big inflatable
Yeah.
rubbers. So it acts sort of as a suspension.
Yeah, and
For the
absorbs
boat.
some of the shock
Absorbs
as
some
well.
of the shock,
Yes.
so it's more comfortable for the seas that we have in the Azores.
Exactly. So we're going to start along the coast here. We have the view of Orslina and some pictures here that we're seeing in the video as well. This is when you're doing the marine observation, this is the part of the island on the southern coast that is probably most picturesque as well.
Yes.
It's amazing coastline here, and I should mention that's also where you have Vila Splits is just along that coast as well.
Exactly.
Coincidentally.
Exactly. Also, the name of the boat is Casteletes,
Okay.
in homage to that place in Ursulina that if you visit, you're gonna know a lot about.
Okay, so we have some pictures that we put up, are going to put up with respect to some of the excursions that do, or specifically the marine observation excursion. So here we have one, and that's actually part of the tip of the boat there.
That's a bit of the boat with some guests on board.
Yeah.
The cave at Ursulina.
It's a huge grotto and cave here.
Huge grotto that was over a mile length.
Yeah, and here's another picture with
different several grottos.
Several, yes. I had the chance to walk this from above the other day, and just walking along the coast is spectacular. And then being able to see it from the ocean is even all that
completely
more
different perspective in which you can actually go inside the cave with the boat, and it's just spectacular.
You can have a peek. It's a completely different sensation, and you have some observation that you can do there as
well. Of course. So our tours always depart from Velas, from the marina of Velas, and we tend to go east. So we showed some pictures of the grottos and caves in Ursulina, where I also get a bit in depth about the history, about the culture exactly of São Jorge, and we go alongside the shoreline as we show limpets, the sea urchins, sea stars, and so on. And our last point before we move away from the island is going to be Fajé das Almas. As you can see, it's very sheltered from the rest of the island, so it gives off a very unique perspective from the ocean as you see how secluded a Fajé can really be.
Yeah, and to get this Fajé, you can drive to a certain point and then have to get out and walk the rest of the way. But you're driving down a road that's more like a Lombard Street in San Francisco, which zigzags back and forth all the way to the parking lot. And then we get out to some of the marine life observation here. So we have some wildlife that maybe you can speak to.
Yeah, sure. So the basalt of the rocks around the island are premium spots for a lot of different animals to be on and to feed and to live and to thrive, actually. So we have a picture of the red-legged crab that we can see all throughout the year going on the rocks, and they do get bigger as summer approaches. So this is a quite moving away from shore. We start seeing different types of animals like jellyfish, Portuguese man wars that are very, very dangerous. They're very beautiful to look at, such as you see in the picture. Beautiful covers. You see them floating on the surface, and but they're very, very powerful. They have quite strong venom, so I wouldn't advise you touching them.
Yeah, keep your eye open for those.
Keep your eye open for those. Yes, if you do see something purple, bluish, glowing on the surface, try to keep away from that.
Yeah.
Typically in the ocean, if it has really live colors, it's for you to stay away from it. There's a multitude of species that also takes advantage of the currents to come to the Azores.
Okay.
Such an example is the loggerhead turtle that comes from beaches between Cape Verde on the Atlantic, on this side of the Atlantic, from Cape Verde, Canary Islands, where they are born, and they use the migration patterns to come here and feed off the islands of the Azores. Also, there's some, this is just a fun fact, there are some turtles that come from the Central Americas and North Americas that are born in beaches close to Miami, Florida, and they do come to the Azores, where they'll spend about 10 to 15 years of their life until they are ready to mate and go back to the beaches where they were born.
And they help control the
The
jellyfish
jellyfish
or the port.
population,
Yeah.
yes, yes, they do help us a lot with it. And fortunately, as you could see with with the manowar that was floating, it resembles a lot like a plastic bag or a plastic
Mm-hmm.
bottle. So this is their main source of food, jellyfish,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they most commonly mistake the bottles,
Plastics.
plastics,
Yes.
for their food, since they are quite similar looking from under the water. And unfortunately, that's one of the reasons why they eat
Yes.
so much plastic. Seabirds are also something that I'm very passionate about. Here we can see a tern. This is one of the migratory species that do
Yeah.
pass through through the Azores, and you can see them all throughout April to the end of the summer, so close to September, October, as long with the Cory's Shearwater.
Yes.
That's the most
The cagarros.
the cagajos, yeah, the cagajos. So they have a really unique sound. The awa, awa, eh.
That's
We're gonna
probably one of the best imitations I've heard of that sound. That's very
we'll
good.
put the sound up for
Yes.
comparison
Yes.
after. So
Okay.
so you'll tell Egidio how
You can
how much I
compare.
scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. São Jorge and the Azores are a great place for them to migrate to, so they can breathe. So this is breeding grounds for them, which they come as couples, and they do lay one egg per couple, and they'll tend to it and from June, July, up until the end of September.
Mm.
Afterwards, they'll just leave the baby by itself. They'll feed it for a month, and then the baby is in charge of himself. So he's the one who's going to be leaving the nest alone by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So between September and November, if you're keen on helping wildlife, we have the SOS Cagajo,
Yes.
in which we take turns volunteering at night, going and helping the shearwaters getting to the ocean,
Yep.
and not be blinded by some of the lights that are inherent
And
from civilization.
yes. So here we see one
Here's
going across the
yeah,
water, and they do dive into the water, if I'm not mistaken.
they do dive into the water. They can dive up to 10 meters.
Yeah.
So that's about 30 feet deep. And they can hunt for fish, for squid,
Yeah.
small crustaceans as well. They're a very versatile bird, and I wish I had a pet shearwater.
Very good. So here now
Um,
we're getting into
we're getting into leaving the island, starting to see bigger marine wildlife, and here we have a bit of a sneak peek of the boat. As you see, there's big inflatable tubes on the
yes.
sides of the boat, so that gives us a bit of suspension and more comfort.
Yep.
And it also has a 200 horsepower engine, outboard engine, so it allows us to speed up in case we need to catch up with some other animals, some more faster dolphins or whales. We
Okay.
can speed up to them.
But for the most part, you're observing but not disturbing as well. I
Of
mean,
course, of
it
course.
allows you to get to a place, but then you give them
But then we give them their space, their privacy. Of course, this is something that I really want to set myself apart between most of the whale watching and different boat companies, is that I try to have the most regard and respect for the ocean life.
Yes.
It's
I think it's important.
It's key. Yeah, the marine wildlife is key for a well balanced ecosystem,
Yep.
and for a well balanced planet. And we should respect it the most that we can.
Yep.
And of course, that we if we need to, we can speed up, because sometimes whales, sperm whales, for example, they do dive. We have a picture of the tail. That was it. We have the picture of a sperm whale that's diving. He's going to go forage looking for squid so he can eat. And they'll spend between 30 minutes to up to an hour. I've already waited an hour 15
for
minutes
for them to come back up.
And sometimes they do pop up quite far away from us, so we need to drive fast so we can get to them. But of course, afterwards we respect them. We keep the minimum distances.
Yes.
And even more than that, and we make the whale comfortable. Sometimes we are lucky enough of when we respect them, they respect us back.
Right.
And they do come and
circle
around the boat, and that's always a very nice, really cool experience.
You know, I had the opportunity to go out whale watching here in the Triangle, and here in the canals between São Jorge Pico and Fayal, there must have been 8 to 10 different ones, and it was just amazing There's some other areas in the Azores that have some as well, but I was just pleasantly surprised by the number of species that were here. And so we saw some of the turtles, we saw the dolphins, various varieties, and sperm whales as well. So this is a great place
Yeah, this is a great
to
place.
observe
The
wildlife.
triangle, all in all, is just a great place since
Yeah.
there's height. It's not just ocean, and there's height. 3 different islands that do have a different ecosystem than the
Yes.
rest of the Azores as well, and
Yes.
provide good good grounds for these larger animals. And now there's some dolphins just bow riding the boat. We can see Rosage, so that's the
The tip.
northwestern tip of the island.
This was actually the area where we were that had a lot of sea life. It was exactly in this spot here.
Yes,
Dolphins and whales.
That's where we say that the so São Jorge is called the Dragon Island.
Yes.
And that tip of Rosage, that's where the dragon's laying and just pointing out northwest.
Yeah, I'll actually include a painting of it was done by a local artist, Peter Adrians, that has the design of the São Jorge Island, and he made the tip of Rosage that you were referring to in that last picture as the dragon.
Yes.
Dragon. And so we have an airborne species here as well.
Yes, this is one of the, so we have 3 different species of dolphins, and they're very nice, very communicative, and keen on coming towards the boats.
Yeah.
But in the summer we do have some really nice jumpers.
Yes.
That's
is that what you call them, a jumper?
A jumper, yeah. The spotties. We call them spotties.
Yeah.
That the species is called spotted dolphin, and they come from offshore waters, close to the equator line where it's super warm. And then in the summer they come here so they can breathe as well, so they can eat a lot and they be sheltered by the islands. So they're really, really cool. They like to jump, they like to show off. They're small, but we can see groups of up to 500 dolphins.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really, the sea is all made up of dolphins. It's really nice.
I actually, when I went out, there was 100. They were saying there was 100 in the pod that we were looking at. It's very impressive to see. So Miguel, that's it. It's been a good overview and summary of some of the species that you can find here along the coast of São Jorge on the southern coast. We hope people will come and enjoy. This is just one example of the many different things you can do here in the Azores. And we're going to be showcasing some of the partners that we're working with, because the people that we've selected to work with us, we believe are the high quality, the people that you will enjoy, the people that we would refer to our friends and family to use. And Miguel is just one of those example of people that we think you will enjoy meeting him and coming here and just enjoying the Azores. Certainly encourage people not to come for a day. They can come for a day, of course, if they like, but we encourage people to come for more and just come and enjoy, relax. We promote a what we refer to as a go low and slow, which means come in the low season or shoulder season, and then also look to do it at a slower pace of travel. And slower pace of travel doesn't mean that it needs to be boring. This is very exciting and very interesting. And so, but you just come and really enjoy that experience. So come to the Azores. We'll see you here.
Bye. See you later, guys.
There's a place I have found in the shade on the ground, far from all worries and troubling sound. When I go there to be by myself, only me, no one can guess what I came there to see. There's a sun in the sky, there's a cloud drifting by, all kinds of birds make you wish you could fly. And in the distance I see someone waving at me.